It's the old thing of do you want the right prescription from a bad doctor, or do you want the wrong prescription from a good doctor? And so for me, the ethics of Christianity, which I have only more recently begun to really understand the value of, the ethics of Christianity were, I think, the result of hard-won, hard-fought, bitter, grueling, and gruesome multiple experiments in various ethics throughout history that were kind of whittled down over 2,000 years of trial and error in a huge variety of environments into stuff that really worked for society.
Yeah.
Hard work, savings, no sex before marriage, particularly prior to birth control. Stay married, stay committed, invest in your children, teach them virtue, teach them to subjugate themselves to something larger than themselves. Otherwise, the great devil of infinite vanity is going to sit in every human heart and work its levers to the destruction of the world. So I think that there's a huge amount of practical ethics in Christianity that are the foundation of what we call civilization. Even thou shalt not steal, which I think restrained the income tax until the bastard atheists pushed over the church and opened it up. Hey, let's get rid of the church. We'll put the Federal Reserve in its place. What could go wrong?
My dad would say amen to you right now.
Yeah, so I think that it's fine. Like, okay, you want to push over something that you consider irrational. Okay, I mean, that's my job too. But for God's sakes, literally, for the sake of civilization, don't push over the only thing that transmits foundational virtues to everyone in society without giving a replacement. Do not tear down a functional house and leave the people in what became in the 20th century a rain of blood. Don't leave them in the open fields with lightning and frogs falling from the sky. Build them something new. And that's why, for me, the effort was, okay, I'm not Christian, but I really need ethics. And I can't just go to the Randy objectivist thing or maybe the biologist. I can't do it. I can't do it because those are, certainly the biology is evolution is an amoral foundation. You say, oh, well, there are practical things. Sure, but not all human beings are the same. We're interspecies predators. So that which works for the sheep is not the same thing as that which works for the farmer. And that which works for the zebra is not the same thing as that which you can't universalize it. So I think that if atheists, okay, fine, push over the church, but build something that can explain ethics and give people the universality that they used to get from God, that they used to get from the monotheism or large monotheism of particular communities, because when they shoved down or they tossed over the church, they broke the unity of Christendom. There was nothing to defend, and now diversity of wildly oppositional and destructive cultures has somehow become a value because people don't have anything that they all believe in to defend anymore. And atheism, by undoing the unity of Christendom and the subjugation of people to virtue and something larger and deeper and bigger than themselves, has created a couple of generations now, which may be the last generations of European civilization, of a bunch of people who worship the state, who pretend that there's no violence in what they worship when that's all it's defined by, who say there's no such thing as truth, but if you disagree with them, they viciously attack you, which is a ridiculous amount of hypocrisy.
Right.
And who can't even be bothered, like the laziest, most depressed panda bears in a Chinese zoo, to have sex and make children so that their civilization can survive. I sort of recognize that you can't bring atheists back to Christianity. It's rare. It happens, but it's rare.
Right.
So to me, it's like, okay, well, we've kind of burrowed our way through a cave. What's behind us has collapsed, and the overhead rock is cracking now. We can't go back. There's no sideways. We can't stay here. So we've got to push on. And so for me, it was like to try and complete the promise of philosophy. Philosophy was, of course, supposed to give people a truth and virtue. Reason equals virtue equals happiness. The philosophy was supposed to deliver happiness through reason and through virtue. Reason it did fairly well. Virtue it failed at.
Right.
And I think it has not provided happiness at all because it has failed to provide virtue. And so I wanted to give people who could not return to Christianity a methodology for virtue that they could wield in debates and conclusively win by pointing out all the fallacies of those who oppose universal values but think that there's something called the truth.